Yo, what's going on, guys? My name's 𝐡𝐨𝐲𝐬. Welcome to the channel and welcome to Best to Worst episode number 4 for Call of Duty Modern Warfare. We'll be going over the submachine guns. I'm going to be ranking each of the SMGs from best to worst, and I feel pretty good about this list. Actually, I feel like this is the way, and there's no other way to arrange the SMGs, but of course some of you are going to think differently. So if you do think differently than what I'm about to lay out for you in this video, be sure to comment your own best to worst list or your best worst, whatever you want to down below in the comments, because it's always fun to compare and contrast with me and all the other viewers that are watching this video. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe if you like the series, because we're going to be doing the light machine guns shortly after this video. Just to preface real quick, for the SMG class, there are clearly some weapons that stand out above the other SMGs, but I want to say none of them are necessarily bad. I can do well with just about any of the SMGs, whereas for the assault rifles, I don't touch anything that I ranked, I think, lower than like number 4 on my best to worst list. The SMGs, I feel like they're all pretty good, they're all usable. Just some food for thought before we dive into the best to worst list. So at number 1, the best submachine gun in Modern Warfare, which I think has been the case since launch, it's going to the MP5. The MP5 is straight up a beast of a weapon. It's easily the best SMG to perform well in any situation you are in. You throw on those 10mm rounds and you got the fastest time to kill with some low recoil, great handling. It just shreds people in close up to medium ranges. You never really need an optic for the MP5 because the iron sights are really nice, and even at some of the longest ranges, the MP5 still performs great. That is for an SMG. Just to set the precedence for the rest of the episode, I took all the SMGs into ground war to get long shots done, and I used them at stupid long ranges that you shouldn't be using SMGs at, like flag to flag combat and some of the ground war maps. And the MP5 did great at these absurd ranges, second to only one other SMG that is on the list. But this just goes to say that the MP5 performs well at any range that you use it in. It has so much going for it. Good stats, but most importantly, it's consistent and reliable, and you're not going to be getting those frustrating hit markers with the MP5 like you do in some other weapons in this game at any time. So hands down, MP5, best SMG in the game. At number 2, the second best SMG in Modern Warfare, we have the MP7. This is really good and specializes in close quarters combat. The MP7 is like a bullet hose submachine gun archetype, like the Scorpion Evo or the SOG or the WAF-28 from previous Call of Duty games. It has a fast rate of fire, but in this game there isn't the insane recoil like a lot of these SMGs tend to have, which is awesome. That combined with its all-around fast handling stats make the MP7 deadly in the right hands. Aggressive submachine gun players are going to like this weapon because it is the epitome of SMG playstyle, where you're running and gunning and shredding people at close range. It can't even put a finger on you. It just has so much going for it. There are 2 downsides to the MP7. The one is that you can get some hit markers at medium range. I think the range drop off is very notable if you're hitting below the chest, making the MP7 feel a little bit inconsistent-ish if you're using it at longer ranges. But again, if you're like the aggressive playstyle and using this close quarters combat, this thing will shred no problem. And then the other downside is that you can run out of ammo very easily with this weapon. It has a good fastest fire rate in the game. I think it's 30 in the mag. You get 2 reserve mags, so you don't have much to work with, and it has unique ammunition that you can't pick up off the ground from any other weapon other than another MP7. So you want to account for that with like the munitions box or the scavenger, something like that, because you will run out of ammo quickly. But overall, the MP7 is a top tier SMG, belongs at number 2. Highly recommend you try it out. At number 3, the third best, it's going to be the AUG submachine gun, which is a little bit shocking to me because this weapon was at worst at one point on this list at some point in time. It's weird. The AUG, if it's not perfectly balanced with attachments, it's not that great. I think there's only one specific way to me that you can configure this weapon, and when it's configured right and done right, the AUG is on par with the MP5 and the MP7 for like the best SMG in the game. I'm not going to go over the exact loadout that I like to use in this video because we don't have time for that, but I am thinking about doing a mass best class setup video where I go over several of my favorite loadouts in the game. So if that's interesting to you, let me know down below in the comments, and subscribe so you get notified when that first goes live. But I will say the 5.56 round conversion is the way to go with the AUG. So imagine a stat triangle. At one point you have damage, at another point you have recoil, and the last point you have handling. This is like the 𝐷 right here. You have to find the perfect balance between all three of these stats. If you lean a little too far towards one point, the weapon begins to fall apart. In other words, you have to compensate for the bullet hole style recoil that this weapon has. It climbs aggressively straight upwards when you shoot it, while also counting for the damage and the range stats, while also making sure you're not nuking your handling and make it becoming like a slow style assault rifle. For example, again, the recoil is really bad on this weapon. If you kit it out to stabilize the weapon, have max recoil control like I recommend you for the SCAR, and maybe you're trying to buff your damage and range and kitting this out to be like the 𝐷 assault rifle, which let me tell you, I don't think that's the way to go about using this weapon. But if you do that, you lose all those SMG handling attributes and it becomes really, really slow. So you have to be careful when kitting this weapon. But when you do find that perfect balance, it is an absolute monster, and the perfect balance could vary a little bit from person to person. But when you do find it, the 𝐷 is just great. I think I touched on all the points in the little anecdote side story there. So we'll move on to the fourth best submachine gun in Modern Warfare, which is going to the PP19. To sum this weapon up, it is good, but not great. You can do well with it, it's fun to use, it has some niches, but it's not on par with our top 3 SMGs here. It doesn't have the fastest fire rate, but it has a respectable time to kill. You will find yourself getting outgunned sometimes in close quarters combat, but the PP19 is very consistent feeling. It has good things going for it, like great handling stats and minimal recoil. It also has amazing hip fire, some of the best hip fire for a submachine gun I've seen since Modern Warfare 3. I'm going to be making a video actually on a hipfire class setup for this weapon that again puts me back in Modern Warfare 3 days. It's so fun to use. The hipfire is amazingly good, and you don't really have to kit for aim down sight speeds with the PP19 because you'll be hitting a lot of shots hip firing while you're taking your time to aim down sights. It also has a giant mag of 64 rounds that you can squeeze a lot of kills out of before having to reload. Even aggressive play styles, you won't need to use crutches like sleight of hand if you're trying to be super aggressive because you'll have a lot of ammo to work with. You'll be able to duck to cover and reload. The reload's not even that long to begin with. Just overall, PP19, again, solid weapon. It's fun to use. It's just not the best. There's better SMGs other than it. At number 5, we have the P90. Now, sadly, the P90 isn't very competitive. You can do well with it, like I said in the beginning of this video, like all the SMGs that we're going over today, but it does get outgunned by, I feel like, every other SMG in the game. The time to kill is slow. I can feel it in all my gunfights, but it is very consistent and it is easy to use. You're not going to be getting, hit markers and being frustrated while using the weapon. The P90 doesn't really excel in anything other than range gunfights, which I think might be its niche. This is actually the other SMG that I was hinting towards when I was talking about the MP5 that is insane at range. The P90 is insane. I can take the P90 into ground war and do very well with it, believe it or not. I think its base range stats are great, but combine that with its low recoil and its fast fire rate, it just performs well at super duper long ranges. And you have a good amount of ammo to work with. I think it's 50 in the mag. So again, very consistent feeling, but outside of range gunfights, and this is as an SMG, of course, there's better options out there in other classes to use at range, but the P90 doesn't really have much to offer outside of that. And that brings us to the worst SMG here, the last one we have to go over. It is the Uzi at spot number 6. So, Uzi, just statistically, it's just bad. It's deadly at an arm's length away, but as the range increases, it becomes more and more of a marshmallow shooter out to mid-range. It's kinda slow. You're likely not gonna be outgunning another SMG with it. It doesn't really specialize in anything or have a niche, but I can't help but like the weapon for some reason. It's kind of fun to use, to be honest. I don't know what it is about it, but if you're trying to be competitive, the Uzi is the last thing you're going to want to use, making it the worst SMG in the game, and a lot of people share the same sentiment as I do about the Uzi. So yeah, that is the best to worst submachine gun list for Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Sorry it took a little bit longer to get out, but I have Damascus Camo in the game right now. So these next couple episodes, we have the light machine guns to do, the shotguns, and then the secondary weapons. And those episodes should be coming out bang, bang, bang. We should be getting the best to worst series wrapped up by early February. at the latest. So again, if you guys didn't agree with my list, let me know your own list down below in the comments. Leave your best gun, your worst gun, any discrepancies. Let's have a discussion down below in the comments. But again, thanks for watching, guys. That's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button, get subscribed, turn on the bell notification. Check the links down below in the description for 10% off Control Freaks, as well as cool any apparel. You'll also find my Amazon and socials link down there if you want to shop through that link and help support my channel that way. But again, thanks for watching, guys. My name's SMGuns. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace out.